You gotta love the internet. The internet taught me how to do that to Pickle Lux. Oh man. Oh, when he gets home, he is in for it. I will never forgive him for what he did at that last match we had. But the great thing about the internet is that you know everything about where somebody lives. And the fact that they have Open Sobe soap.
Who's that in my kitchen?
Bristles.
Loaf, what are you doing here?
I came to get my revenge for what you did to my wrist.
First drink of the rest of that Sobe before I kick your butt.
Okay, I think I'll at least enjoy the Sobe.
Bristle butt! I can't believe you broke into my house! I thought, take that! I thought, handle hammer! You're done. Good day.
So in honor of Punk being the champion for 316 days, of course I'm going to wear this shirt. But if we're keeping count here, I've had this shirt for over 3,160 days. Opening the show is Punk and Heyman, and Punk brings out the good news that he and Cena will not be facing at the next pay-per-view. Not that I have that much against Cena, it's just I don't understand why he gets 50 billion title shots a year. One cutback that I did enjoy was Paul Heyman talking about when he proposed to AJ. And what shocks me is how young, dumb, uninhibited, and ambitious did not become a hashtag. That seems like a perfect hashtag for sugar daddies. And then we get treated to Vicky and Dolph Ziggler very early in the show, and people were cheering, but I think they didn't realize who they were cheering for because they turned into boos pretty fast. It was pretty funny. And is it just me, or does anybody else miss having a heel commentator? Because when Daniel Bryan came out, there should have been a lot of cheering for him from somebody on the announce team. Dolph Ziggler proposed that Vicky Guerrero and Paul Heyman should be co-managers of Raw, and I was all for Team Heiki, but when AJ Lee came out and was skipping, I didn't want that anymore. I honestly believe that Daniel Bryan really, not to steal it from The Miz or nothing, but really needs to come out with a motivational tape, because that would be perfect for me and I would listen to that every single morning. I am handsome. I have a great beard. I was a former heavyweight champion. I'm so ready for the And then Kane came out and said AJ is a great kisser, and then him and Daniel Bryan started going at it with the I am the tag team champions. Punk and Ziggler started holding up their belt and briefcase at each other. Vicky and Heyman started just going at it. And then AJ just started screaming, "Stop it!" And then I will tell you that the last time I heard it like that was... The only thing that Daniel Bryan really needs to say now is the one thing that he really truly is. I am hilarious! So on SmackDown last Friday, Booker T started this tag team tournament thing. Tonight in their first round is Epico and Primo versus Rey Mysterio and Sin Cara, both of which do not have official tag team names. You know, I really can't think of a name for Rey and Sin Cara right now, but there is a name I can think of for Epico and Primo. Team Rosa Mendez. What did you think I was gonna say? There's one thing I've learned from this match is that you never, ever in your life, when you're facing a luchador, to ever try to do a sidewalk slam or a tilt-a-whirl backbreaker on him, because when has that ever worked out? Now, this is a pretty good match, of course. I mean, you got some really good talent in the ring, and it doesn't matter how good a match is, because if it ends with a 35-pound falling splash and a victory with it, it is not a good match. How is that legit? But what's the most important thing that we got from this match? We got an appearance from millions of dollars, millions of dollars, millions of dollars, millions of dollars. The next match we had Funkasaurus, which finally, thank goodness, we didn't have to watch the whole entrance, which I really don't have a problem with, but I guess they decided to cut the TV time of somebody who tried to bribe a cop with $10,000, which I guess that's a good call. It's Funkasaurus versus Antonio Cesaro. Antonio Cesaro does this off the top rope uppercut, and the crowd had absolutely no reaction, and my reaction was just like, I couldn't even like think straight. I was just like, aye. And then Cesaro picks up Funkasaurus like he's a 5-year-old baby, and there's no reaction again. I know he's a bad guy, but I mean, really? Come on, people. Oklahoma City, you're Midwest. You're supposed to be like, I want to be stereotypical here. Shame on you. And next we go backstage to Caitlyn, who's not giving us a very PG view of her puppies. And if you didn't know that that was a Lawler homage, then you didn't know. AJ attempts to apologize to Caitlyn for what she had done to her, and then she starts laughing, and honestly, the 69 trillion boners probably went down to 69 million, because I have no idea what that was. Next up, we have the generic Ryder versus heel match, where Ryder faced The Miz. They went back and forth a little bit. Ryder hits the broski boot, and then gets hit with a finisher, and The Miz wins with a skull-crushing finale. And the skull-crushing finale, really, like, nobody ever kicks out of that. I'm sure John Cena has, because John Cena can kick out of a meteorite hitting him. So, I mean, what are you gonna do about him? But that's cool, whatever. Whoops. So next we have this debate between Big Show and Sheamus. And yes, it's a little stereotypical that I expected this to end in a brawl. But when I watched the Romney and Obama debates, I'm not gonna see no brawl there, so I might as well watch it here because they kept reminding me, Romney and Obama will probably be taking notes. But I will say right from the get-go, Big Show wins this debate because he actually dressed up. And like Damien Sandow said later, Sheamus wasn't even wearing any pants. Now what kind of questions did they really choose from people? What's the most challenging aspect from your opponent? Who has the better finishing move? Is it the WMD or the bro kick? At one point I did check my Twitter timeline, and I will say just about every single question that I saw on Twitter would have been a billion times more interesting for them to answer. So I don't even know what to say. I mean, like, why do we spend our time setting these questions we absolutely know they're not gonna pick? Because it would be too interesting. All I know is that don't tout. Jeez, I'm sure millions of people touted questions, and then they just had Sheamus and as Rey Mysterio Sullivan, which I thought was kind of funny, honestly. But they usually use touts, and I thought this would be one time when they used a tout, but they didn't. The best part of this segment was when Big Show started ad-libbing after he threw his podium. You know, I thought I was cheap. I'm looking around right now. I'm trying to find something cheap that I bought. Okay, it looks okay. Well, I'm cheap, and that podium doesn't even look like something I would buy. So next up we have Ryback versus Tenzai. And I'm just saying, when Ryback, whatever, 5 months from now, he's probably going to be some champion somewhere. When Swagger comes back, he's going to take down Ryback. Not to steal a line from Del Rio, but that's destiny. Only because I lost my voice cheering on Swagger when he took on Ryback at episode 999 of Monday Night Raw. I really wish y'all could have seen it. Oh man, I looked like a giant buffoon. I know that. My signs went everywhere. It was great. I don't even know how to express in words. But against Tenzai, Ryback wins with a clothesline. Oh, and our social media ambassador of the night is Larry King. Like, all these celebrity ambassadors are just generic WWE fans. There's no heart in what they tweet at all, really. Someday somebody's gonna do it, and I will follow that person, because I don't follow anybody. So next up, we have a Divas match between Beth Phoenix and Eve. And I've seen all over the place now that Beth Phoenix is leaving the WWE, so of course she's going to lose the match to a neckbreaker. But when are they ever gonna let somebody who's leaving win a match? Wouldn't that create an interesting plot twist? So Wade Barrett lines out AJ pretty hard, and that look on the executive coach's face was priceless. Next up, we got the one-man rock band versus Santino, and I don't know how long I'm going to be smiling so hard, but Heath Slater's building up his own stable, or his own band, and I can think of nothing greater in my life right now. His band consists of Drew McIntyre and Jinder Mahal. So it's Santino versus Slater. Santino tried to do one of those kick-up things, and he failed, and it was hilarious. And I don't know how many of you noticed when Heath Slater grabbed Santino's butt, and he was like, oh! So Santino ends up hitting Heath Slater with the Cobra and goes for the pin, but the one-man band's band interferes and stops Santino from the pin, giving Santino a disqualification victory. Then Slater starts directing traffic, which was pretty awesome, because he told McIntyre to go for that future shock, not looped. And then McIntyre says, on your count, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. That may have been the greatest moment in pro wrestling history, and I'm totally saying that being totally biased. And then Slater lets everybody introduce themselves. I am the chosen one. I am the Taj Mahal, and I'm the one-man band. Next up, we got Team Rhodes Scholars, Damien Sandow is facing Sheamus. So at the Ring of the Bell, we find out that Cody Rhodes is on commentary. But unfortunately, during the commercial break, he gets up out of the seat and we don't get to hear from him anymore. But I will say though, this match was definitely pay-per-view worthy. I can't get away from the commentary. There needs to be a heel, because when Sheamus threw in Rhodes and then Sheamus did the double bro kick, there needed to be a heel commentator saying, if Sheamus wouldn't never thrown him in there, that would have never happened. A good cop, bad cop. Come on. I understand why it is like it is right now. This part of me is like... So it's JR Appreciation Night, and Michael Cole introduces him out, and he comes out from the back, which I didn't understand at all. But in a snap second, right after Michael Cole starts asking him questions, CM Punk interrupts him. And it was pretty funny because Punk tried to get this JR chant going, and it didn't catch on barely at all. That's how big of a heel CM Punk has become. And this whole time I'm like, stop foreshadowing, just bring him out already, because Punk just kept referring to Stone Cold Steve Austin. And I know a few months back he had some surgery on his knee and he couldn't make it to the 1000th Raw. I don't think his knee could heal that fast for him to do anything like that, but I was like, what's up with the foreshadowing? And then it didn't happen. But Punk and JR go about respect, back and forth a few times. Punk has been bringing out some great promo ability, and some, well, I mean, not that JR or Mick Foley or anybody has had ever bad promo ability, but it's been heightened to a level that it's never been brought to before. And I knew there was a reason I was wearing this hat all night. It was because I knew, no I didn't, that JR was gonna have his hat knocked off by CM Punk. I will say Punk's doing a very good job at drawing a lot of heat. He even called JR not a Hall of Famer, but a joke. But I will say I'm disappointed with the fact that they built up who's gonna show up for JR tonight, and like really nobody showed up. And with Ryback coming down and defending JR, I kind of feel like I'm watching Dragon Ball Z all over again. Because you know, for weeks you would sit there and watch Dragon Ball Z and not much would happen but a lot of heavy breathing, and that's what we're getting from Ryback. But next up it's Ricardo Rodriguez featuring Alberto Del Rio versus Kofi Kingston. And Ricardo Rodriguez is even on commentary. I really wish I had my Justin Bieber underwear on. CM Punk, Cody Rhodes, The Miz, Dolph Ziggler, The Goon, all of whom have nothing in comparison to Ricardo Rodriguez when it comes to ringside commentary. Kofi Kingston hits the boom drop. How do you say that in Spanish? Ouch! Or if you're Michael Cole, how do you say that in Spanish? El Bumo Drapo. But this match ends with Del Rio putting on the cross arm breaker, and Kofi could not make it to the ropes, and he taps. And Rodriguez has about 69 million boners. I've never seen somebody so excited in my life. So we cut to the back, and AJ pretty much sends her executive coach, Mr. Stevenson, home or out of the arena because she says, how can I trust a coach if he's never been a player? Which I kind of agree with. But during it, somebody botched JR's mic. Somebody got fired. So we come to the main event. CM Punk and Dolph Ziggler taking on Daniel Bryan and Kane. Now with Daniel Bryan and Kane's new name, I'm just gonna say they should have a new theme song. And I kind of feel obligated because the song is that amazing that I can't just tell you the name of the song. I'm going to have to express it to you.
I think you need to step off, right?
Moved into my apartment at the university. The only one who lives here is me, so why the phone ring all day long? I got no friends except Mike and he's gone for the summer. And I just want some peace and quiet. Come to my room and it's a telephone riot. Ring-a-ling-a-ling. Every time I take a step, can't sleep, can't eat, can't breathe, can't get any of my work done. Cause people keep calling with the same dang question. Hello, is Shaniqua there? Nah, Shaniqua moved out last year. I think you have the wrong number. This is Little T. You mean Shaniqua's brother? Man, can't you just leave me alone? This ain't Shaniqua's house, this ain't her phone. So don't call back again, cause if you do, you know the answer, man. Shaniqua don't live here no more. Shaniqua don't live here no more. Shaniqua don't live here no more. Is Shaniqua their team?
Hell no.
South Dakota. Thug life. But anyways, so everybody's like, who's the special guest referee gonna be? Like, all of us sitting at home, like, we're like, like, when you know something's gonna happen, why do they have that long dramatic pause? It's unnecessary every single time. The highlight of the match for me was when Daniel Bryan double underhook suplex CM Punk off of the top rope and went right into a no-lock. But then Paul Heyman kinda helped CM Punk getting his foot up on the rope, so AJ Lee ejected him, and then she got mad at Vicky because Vicky was that was bad. And then Dolph just left. I have no idea why he left, because that just blew my mind. And then Kane and Daniel Bryan work together as a team and defeat CM Punk for the win. This concludes episode 21 of the Raw Loaf. I really appreciate you sitting through this whole thing continuously and watching me make a fool out of myself, and I hope you laugh at me a few times. If you didn't, I hope you laughed with me a few times. So if you could, just please click that subscribe button up top. Subscribe to the channel, go right down below, leave some comments if you'd like, I'll try to respond to them. You can go ahead and like this, because as we all know, the likes, whether they're likes or dislikes, count more than the views count. Go ahead to the Facebook page and like the Facebook page. Follow me on Twitter at BLoafX. Use the hashtag TheRawLoaf. I feel like I got my own little empire here just waving it all at me, but by the way, I'm thinking about creating some shirts soon, so I might be making some shirts soon. So if you'd like to buy one, let me know. You're going to get me. Oh, God, that hurt. Oh, ouch. Ow. Ow. I smell fantastic.